I'm here with Miami head golf coach Zach Cedric. Coach, you guys competed at the Badger Invitational this past weekend. Your last rounds were much different than your first round. What was the difference?
We got off to actually a decent start the first round. We were 2 under with guys making the turn. The front nine, which was our second nine the first 2 days, probably, if you look at all the scores, probably played somewhere between a shot and a half harder. So the front nine was a little harder, and we had some struggles as we made the turn. That took us from a couple under to probably 2 or 3 over. 3, 4, 5 are very difficult holes if you're playing in a dome, and it was windy and a little cool. We actually got through that stretch okay, and we were probably around 4 or 5 over as we were getting through those holes. And to go from 5 over to 12 over in 60 minutes is just not acceptable. And no other explanation than the things that the guys have been trying to focus on individually to play their best, it just got away from them 2 specific stretches. And when we shoot 3 over for the week and second place is 6 under, that's all it takes to go from second to 8, especially in a field like that. Those top 11 teams, we are all going to probably be somewhere between 30 and 90 on the golf stat ranking. And when you're talking about 60 to 65 teams that get an at-large bid to regionals, like, those wins matter. I think the second and third rounds, we didn't really have those lapses. I thought, we did kind of a tough putting drill after the first round, and we were out there for about an hour, and the guys rallied and got it done. And there was some momentum or some juju that we kind of took from that and ran with it the next couple days. Just a heightened sense of focus and confidence in what they were doing. The third round, honestly, we turned at 6 under with only 2 players making a bogey. We had 2 total bogeys. You're looking at 45 holes, and which was great. And that was the 9 we had struggled on a little bit. We did not play the first part of our back 9 very well as a team. That was, I don't know if it was getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. We had played the back 9 well, and then we finally had a good front 9. So I think we probably, based on conversations that I've had, my just observation of that little stretch, I think we just got a little ahead of ourselves. But the thing I was pleased with is rather than let it completely get away from us, you could see the guys recognize what was going on, and they're really going out of their way to make sure they get back into the right frame of mind, into being focused on what's right in front of them. 15 and 16 are birdie holes. 17 and 18 were playing very difficult. So for us to get through that last stretch of holes a couple under as a team was a good way to finish.
So your guys' 2 through 5 players were really, really close in scores. What do you think that shows about your team?
We're doing a much better job of turning. We only had 1 score over 74 the entire week. And we definitely, I think of Jack Hersig in particular, who had a couple rounds where he was 2, 3 over par at a point in a round where it could have easily been 76, 77. And he kept it to 74 or better, which was awesome. I think mentally we're becoming tougher, more resilient. I think what we're doing at home is helping that. And I think that's what's showing up. Those 5 guys, even Charlie, they're all, the 4 guys that were kind of literally just outside the top 25, the way they view it is this was a week that really I could have finished in the top 10. And that's great to have that kind of depth, because realistically, any of those 5 guys could have finished in 10th, and it wouldn't have been a surprise. I know Charlie did, and he responded really well after a poor finish in his first round, and played really well the last 2 days. But I think with those guys, there's just a toughness and a resiliency that we're developing that is, turning days that have been more 74 to 77, 78, 79, and now they're days that are 70 to 74, which is what we need.
So what are you guys going to take from overall this tournament into the couple weeks of practices, and what are you going to be trying to improve on?
There were definitely a ton of positives. The finish, being an 8th in a lot of ways is obviously really disappointing. But like I said, there was a lot of good momentum taken from those first those last 2 rounds, and guys have a very clear like picture of like, with a couple of things going a little better would have made a big difference, and it all of a sudden turns that finish into second place finish. And I'm not really trying to jump through a bunch of hoops to get us to second place. It's really 2 stretches of golf where we are a little better than we were. As far as how we're going to focus our energy, it's going to be a lot more competition. And for me, it was recognizing that, I've turned up the pressure a lot at home. I've got to figure out a way to ratchet it up a little bit, and we're going to do that. We'll definitely be competing as a team a lot, and we're obviously going to be, guys are going to have to earn spots to go to Coldstream, but we're going to frame it in a different way where they're competing in teams, and we're taking these 18-hole rounds and turning them into basically 3-round tournaments. And you either win or you're going to lose. You either, as a group of 4, you either win or you lose those little 3-hole tournaments. And how we kind of exempt players for the next event is going to be biased towards the team that wins all these little 3-hole tournaments we're going to play. So it's really going to turn up the pressure. It's going to put the guys in an even in a position where they're continuing to feel that pressure of performing well for other people, but wanting to kind of be the top dog in their group. And guys are excited about it. I think it's going to be really competitive at home, and for me, it's exciting when we have guys that want to play at a high level and they want to get better, that they're willing to allow me to try some random stuff, to be creative and to figure out ways to make our team tougher and to perform well, even when we may not be at our best. But then when we are, when we've got the opportunity to really take advantage of it and play it at a very high level.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.